All right, hello everyone. This is Group 5, and so for our presentation we have done research on large object data types and system reference cursors. And so in this group we have Skylar, myself, Justin, Renee, and Rachel. And so we'll go ahead and start off with Rachel.
So we'll be talking about large objects. First I'll start talking about B-file, and then Skylar and Renee will talk about the rest of the data types. If we can continue on to the next slide, please. So the B-file is a read-only data type. It points to an external file. By using the B-file name function, it's used to return a B-file. So before you can even use the B-file name function, you have to set it up to be able to do that by creating a directory in the server, store the file in the directory, create a virtual directory pointing to the physical directory, and then making sure that it has read permissions so that it can pull out the B-file column. And then the session max open files, it specifies the maximum amount of B files to open per session.
So like she said, I'm doing CLOB, and so this is another large data type. It's specifically, it can be read or written. There are three different states of it. You can have a null, empty or populated. The way you create them is with null, you can just state the variable, and it's automatically implied that it's going to be null. If you want to set it as empty, you need to use the function called empty-clob, and then to populate it, you can just assign it, whatever string you want to. So also for CLOB, you can have large. So it's meant for large text files like refunds, transactions. I'm pretty sure you can store PDFs or whatever you need. And it's best to do this with like small chunks to save resources, which is something that wasn't in this chapter, but refer to chapter 10 for learning more about that, which we'll learn later. So.
And I'm going to talk about blob and nclob. So blob are binary large objects, a file that's not a text. A blob can store anywhere from 8 to 32 terabytes, and then below here is an example of a 32-bit binary bit. Each section has 8 bits, and together that equals a maximum of 32 bits. But it doesn't mean that each file has 32 bits. It just means that that's the maximum storage amount. The database management system log can read and write packages that allows the person to gain access to blob columns, executed using privileges if granted. It allows you to read files, and it also allows you to manipulate values after assignment of the original value of both the internal and external file storages of Oracle. They talked about the 3 various states earlier, the null, empty, and populated, but take note that when you declare null, unlike the empty and populated states, it does not have an assignment operator. Therefore, no value is assigned to the variable. Blobs have various data types that they can store, from integers, floats, chars, varchars, blob text, enums and sets, and more. The next data type is the nclob data type. It's very similar to the clob data type in its function. But what sets it apart from the clob is that it occupies a significant amount of storage space that uses Unicode character sets. Unicode character sets are symbols from the American Standard Code for Information Interchange, which includes letters, digits, and punctuations, as you see on your standard PC or laptop. Data type is very similar to,
Oh, and then my turn, sorry. All right, and then I had, were you done, Renee? I'm sorry.
Yes, I am.
Okay. I had system reference cursors, and so basically these system reference cursors are pointers to work in different query areas, and so one thing that you could do with them is you could use them to move data from two different programs or two different programming languages. And so there are two different types to implement these reference cursors. One is a strongly typed reference, and the other is a weakly typed. And these are just the prototype examples that they used in order to implement those. The more commonly used one is the weakly typed, just because it's faster and it could accomplish the same thing. And so here we have an example of what you could do in SQL in order to implement a weak typed reference cursor. And so once that's implemented, it will go ahead and be able to write the variable to the different queries. So that basically concludes our presentation. Is there anything anyone else would like to add?
No.
Okay. We appreciate everyone for listening in, and thank you very much.